Good morning, everyone. As you all know, I'm the chair of Northern Land Council. My name's Samuel Bush-Banasi. As we all are here today, all guests at Northern Land Council staff, ministers, and some people travel as far. We are guests of the Youngman and the Mangarrayi landowner group. Welcome, traditional owners and your family and your great-grandkids and your grandkids who will treasure this day today, that for the rest of their life, what the old people have cemented it in for old people, for your younger generation. I know you all have travelled here today, and now we have welcome everybody here to the Youngman and Mangarrayi people. I've always known you as Mangarrayi people. Behind me on the other side, on Dry Creek area, is the Youngman country. It's a special day for the people of Elsey receiving their land claim. And it took taken that long to get here in 1977. I mean, that's a long time. And so was Urapunga, a very long time. And I think all Indigenous people should be very, very proud of yourself, because you're getting something back after all these years. So I'm not going to bore you mob by talking to you mob. And I know it's hot. I'll get up the first speech. Auntie Grace, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Grace Daniels. I just want to say about this handover. It is very important. Why is this handover is very important? Because of our land, our culture, our customary law that puts us to that land. If we don't have any of those things behind us, we're nothing. But I just want to say this because my auntie, my uncle, my cousins, my brothers and sisters, the Milarndirri, they hold their land because of their culture. If no ceremony, if you don't have ceremony, nothing you can do, and nothing can be your recognition. It's part of your land. You must be recognized through attending your ceremony and getting bold. Not just saying, I come from there. No. You got to participate in ceremonies, in your cultural law, your customary law, because that's how I was brought up through my families. I know my law, I know my mother's country, I know my father's country and myself. So I just want to say to the Milarndirri and the Duncans, I'm their cousin. The Duncans are my blood cousins. Milarndirri mob is my parents. I've got my auntie, and I still got Samson Ponto still there. But my father was a brother to those old people. That's why I'm recognized all the time by them. Thank you.
Kaya. Hello in my Nyungar language. Sammy, thank you, and I want to acknowledge Minister Selena Uibo, who I have worked closely with on many issues, and it's good having you here. Senator Malarndirri McCarthy, Samuel, as chair of the NLC. But I want to acknowledge all of those traditional owners who are not with us today, who have waited for this to happen for so long, but we have lost them. And to all the traditional owners who are now here, today I acknowledge you and thank you for your patience. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting today, of the Nudja clan of the Youngman Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are also here today, and to everybody else who is part of the Handback. I thank you, the members of the Budal Unapunji Milawapra and the Bobabinga groups and other senior people for welcoming me to Mataranka and allowing me to leave my footprints on your country. It's a great pleasure to be here on country to celebrate Aboriginal culture and land, but more importantly, your deep past and the enduring presence on this country, which has always been yours. The Land Right Act gives Aboriginal people strong ownership of their country, and that's why the Morrison government is committed to finalising land claims in the Northern Territory. This is a significant day for finalising land claims. Later today, I'll be visiting Kakadu National Park to finalise 4 long-standing land claims in that region. Together with the grants of land here in Mataranka, more than half of the land area of outstanding claims in the Northern Territory will today be handed over to traditional owners. The Land Right Act recognises the important connection that people have to country. The link between this land and the people who today take ownership is uninterrupted and enduring. This grant of land marks the end of what has been a very long process, a long wait for the recognition of continuing cultural, spiritual connection to that of your land and with your country. Many of you will undoubtedly remember talking and having meetings about the Elsey region land claim years ago. Others will remember the meetings about Urapunga Township Indigenous Land Use Agreement. And as I said at the beginning, sadly, some of those elders who were there at the beginning are no longer with us. Today, we honour them and their passionate commitment to country and in being patient but enduring in making sure today happens. Today, we celebrate the traditional ownership of the Urapunga and Elsey region by the Budal Unapunji Milawapra and the Babonga people. We celebrate their enduring cultural, social, economic and spiritual connection to the land. We also celebrate the land itself and the dreaming. Knowledge of this country, stories and ceremonies have been passed from generation to generation. As I deliver the deed of grant for the Elsey region to the Mangarrayi Aboriginal Land Trust, I acknowledge the traditional owners and their contribution and deep connection to the land. On the 4th of June 1997, the Aboriginal Land Commissioner received the Elsey land claim from the Northern Land Council. The delivery of the grant deed resulted from a land claim initiated by 28 senior Aboriginal traditional owners. The land grant includes the site of the historically significant Old Elsey Homestead that came to prominence via Janine Gunn's book, We of the Never Never. The traditional owners and the Northern Territory Government have acknowledged the historical significance of this site to members of the public, both locals and visitors. I thank and commend the traditional owners on their willingness to accommodate public access to the Old Elsey Homestead through the Northern Land Council's online permit management system. This is a pragmatic step that has helped reach this important point. And when I deliver the deed of grant for Lot 281 to the Urapunga Aboriginal Land Trust, I acknowledge the traditional owner's contribution and deep connection to land. In the delivery of the deed of grant to Urapunga, it finalises a native title settlement over the township of Urapunga, entered into by the Northern Territory Government and the Northern Land Council and the traditional owners in 2004. Under the agreement, the Northern Territory Government compulsorily acquired the land and the Commonwealth then scheduled the land into the Land Right Act, enabling it to be granted as Aboriginal land. I'd like to recognise the work of the Northern Land Council and the Northern Territory Government, which has led to the finalisation of these negotiations and the grant of land today. And I also thank the Northern Land Council for the work that they've done for holding this very important event. And finally, I want to thank everyone who is here. I want to thank all the traditional owners, your families, and those who have walked this land previously for your enduring patience and your appreciation that today is your day in regaining ownership of land that was always yours and from now on will be yours. It was a long wait, but worthy of celebration. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and especially good morning to family who've travelled from a long way away to be here to celebrate not just the family history recently, but today and the very special day it means for the beautiful region of Arnhem. I want to start by acknowledging our traditional owners and particularly our past elders who are not with us anymore for their journey, their fighting to make today happen. So remembering them and the history they've passed on to us as the next generations, and of course for our future traditional owners and family members who will be leading the next phase of exciting action that we're seeing today. Today is making history, and all of our families should be very proud of the work you've done, the work that our past family members have done to make sure that Aboriginal land rights are further recognised in the way that it should be here in the Northern Territory. Today's presentation about the deed of grant for the Urapunga Land Trust and the handing back of the Northern Territory portion 5604 to the Mangarrayi Aboriginal Land Trust is an exciting chapter in our history for both of our communities, all of our communities and family members today. Thank you to everyone who has made today happen. It is an especially proud moment for me as the local member for Arnhem, but also as the Northern Territory Aboriginal Affairs Minister. I'd like to pass on the apologies from Chief Minister Michael Gunner, who can't be here today. He is in Parliament in Darwin, so I have special leave today because today is a very important day for me, and I know more importantly for our families here. So apologies from Chief Minister Michael Gunner because of Parliament in Darwin today. What I love about representing the Arnhem electorate is the strength of history from our families, culture, language, the absolute leadership that our family members have shown over many, many generations. We have families here today from Bullman, Uibo, Woogala, Barunga, Manyalaluk, Urapunga, Ropa, family who are thinking about us from Numbawa, here Mataranka, Miguyie, Hodgson Downs, Jilkmingen. Thank you all for the special efforts you spent today, travelling hundreds of kilometres in some very hot weather and on some very bumpy roads to be here to celebrate this historic day. The Urapunga Indigenous Land Use Agreement was signed on the 20th of September in 2005 by the Territory Government and the Northern Land Council. The native title parties decided to resolve by agreeing to making sure that the native title claim was historic and it was proclaimed over but never developed in the township of Urapunga. The parties agreed way back then in 2005 that the Northern Territory would acquire a number of historic freehold lots and offering lots to owners at the Urapunga Caravan Park and as an extension of the existing caravan park that we know today, and supporting the Northern Land Council's request on behalf of traditional owners for the scheduling of the other land under the Aboriginal Land Rights Northern Territory Act of 1967. In February 2007, 2 years later, the then Chief Minister of the Northern Territory wrote to the then Commonwealth Minister for Families, Community Services and Indigenous Affairs to seek agreement from the Commonwealth Government to schedule the land, and the Northern Land Council supported this. The delay in finalising and finishing those agreements and the granting of Aboriginal land has happened over many years for different reasons. But it came to a head when the Commonwealth was able to secure approval for the Indigenous Land Use Agreement. All the work necessary, such as survey work, road closures, and internal unused roads, were all part of the administrative and legal processes that needed to be completed. But today, the day has finally come. Similar story for the Elsey Region Land Claim number 245, which will finally be confirmed and finalised today with the handing back of that portion of land, 5604. In 2004, this portion of land was recommended for grant to the Aboriginal land as part of the Upper Roper River Land Claims Report by the then Aboriginal Land Commissioner, the Honourable Howard Onley QC. This portion of land that we're talking about contains the Old Elsey Homestead, which most of you know as locals, and it was the subject of Jeannie Gunn's novel, We of the Never Never. And the area remains a historic site of significance for the Territory. With the support of traditional owners, the public access for recreational purposes to the Old Elsey Homestead site will remain available and free of charge through the Northern Land Council's permit system. And we thank traditional owners for allowing that continued access on their country for all visitors to enjoy, local and people who come from afar to see that area. Today, you're all making history. And I know many of you have been waiting for this for a long, long time. Thank you all for your patience, your dedication, and your commitment to this process. And most of all, thank you for your strong leadership. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land, and today absolutely recognises that. Congratulations to all of our families for today.
Good morning. Can I pay my respects to our elders and the traditional owners of this land, but especially as Minister Selena Uibo has said, to pay respects as well to all of those who are not here with us, our elders who fought in all of these land hearings over the last few decades. I'd like to make a special mention and welcome to Minister Ken Wyatt, and thank the Northern Land Council for bringing us all together, every single one of us, not just politicians, but more importantly, each of you from all the places that Selena's mentioned that you've come from. I guess for my part, I just want to speak a little bit about the struggle and how the struggle continues. You're still struggling today. We still need houses, we still need jobs, we still need a future for our children, and a future that gives them so much hope to become the people that they're here to be, strong in culture, knowing who they are, who their family is, and where their country is. Today completes the unfinished business that needed finishing for these land claims. And I do thank Minister Ken Wyatt for being here to ensure that that finished business happens. But there's also something else we all know has to happen. And that is, what does the future look like for our children? What does the future look like? And that also includes how we do things, how governments do things or don't do things, how those in positions of power should do things, and those in leadership in our communities should do things. 2005, when this began for Urapunga, and then for Elsey, I remember covering the Elsey land claim as a journalist with the ABC. It's taken way too long. And we all know that. And I know my colleagues here at the table know that. And yes, today's a celebration, but there also has to be a step and a decision made about where we go from here. And I know I'm taking time with families to talk to you just about the issues that you still face. and the fact that we still need hope in moving forward in caring for our country, but most importantly, caring for our children and our families. So enjoy the time together here, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it with you. And I look forward to continue to serving you as your Senator in the Australian Parliament. And I also acknowledge the apology of Warren Snowden, the member for Miguyie, who's walked with you for nearly 3 decades, and also our candidate for Miguyie, Marion Scrimgeour, who pay their respects to each of you today through my speech to you. Yo, Bawjibara, thank you.
Yeah, Bob. Okay, guys, looking over here. In the middle, look. Minister, look up. Everyone look up.